Before we get into this expose, I want to warn the fans tonight that the topic and acts that will be discussed are truly disturbing, especially when it comes to that major name that will be featured throughout, who indeed many fans have very emotional ties with. Viewer discretion is advised. If you were an industry fan or insider through that mid-90s, early 2000s era, you have no doubt heard of Stone Cold Steve Austin, real name Steve Williams. During a low point in company history, he almost single-handedly brought that now major entertainment company into a whole new era. Fans remember the shock of that legendary moment of Austin becoming that 1996 King of the Ring winner, where after the match he made the famous speech, which included the now famous line, "You talk about the Psalms, you talk about the 316. Well, Austin 316 just whipped your blank." This truly was the start of that New York company starting to find its edge in the new territory of that mid-late 90s period, where things were truly changing in the entertainment industry. And essentially Williams was responsible for bringing so much of that energy to the forefront and money to the table as well. While not only bringing vast income to the company, Williams was also becoming a fan favorite. Fans of that era could identify with Williams, as week to week he would come down to the ring confronting authority, confronting his boss, and would let no other name or major industry star stand in his way. Society also at that time was becoming angrier. And many fans, in fact, the same fans who would be spending these major amounts of yearly income, buying the programs, buying the t-shirts, traveling over the country or sometimes even the world to those major arenas and stadiums, were also the same people outside of the world of entertainment who were also out there doing their 9 to 5, having fantasies of confronting their own boss or their enemies, cracking open the cold beer after work. And it wasn't only the male fans who were having the fantasy. I recall even as a young fan myself, catching the hard-working single mother, sitting down and watching Steve's captivated performances and mentioning how she wished there was a man like Williams around who would essentially straighten me out from time to time. Sadly, Williams has had some disturbing both charges and allegations tied to his name that would not only shock the fans, but also have some fans changing their opinion on Williams. And although much of what will be discussed tonight in this video has, for the most part, been swept under the rug, there are aspects to the behavior that will haunt Williams for the rest of his days, and I think it truly is important for longtime fans to come to terms with these actions. His first arrest was in 2002, after Williams struck his at that time wife Deborah, who was also featured in the ring performing in various different promotions over the years. After striking Deborah, a warrant was issued for Williams' arrest. Not only did Williams surrender and post the $5,000 bail, which would probably be about closer to $8,000 today, he would then proceed to leave the courthouse saying to local news agencies and media outlets that nothing happened, seemingly unable to step up and publicly admit to the actions and wrongdoings. Before the assault on his now ex-wife, Williams was seemingly all but disappearing from that major company until it came to a point where only hours before a live television broadcast, Williams just disappeared. After this incident, he was fired from the company in 2002, and Vince himself went as far to publicly state that this was not part of any storyline at this time. Although it is a little unclear to me, my research states that his in-ring career ended in 2003. It still states that William is employed by the company as essentially a host or personality for the company as late as 2021, and has been prominently featured with his own show on the company's almost now worldwide streaming service. Williams to this day has never publicly apologized for his behavior or actions, and now I want to share a quote from his ex-wife Deborah, which I will share now. So this would be Deborah speaking here now. I know it was contributed to the use of steroids because I have seen those steroid rages. I have seen him being paranoid. I've seen the panic attacks. 3 times I've seen him attack me. At work, people would know, and they would cover up the bruises on my face. The last time Steve attacked me, alcohol was involved. He jumped on me. He's on my back with his knee in my back, pounding me in the back and in my face. Good Lord. I thought I was going to die, and then I could totally understand what Nancy must have felt in that last few seconds of her life, because I thought I was going to die. And of course, she's making reference to the wife of Chris Benoit. After the incident, Deborah was left with bruises and a bloody nose. And like we have seen him many times in those major storylines, Williams was confronted by police and put in handcuffs and taken away, only this time the fans wouldn't be cheering. Deborah went on to make public statements saying the attacks and abuse suffered at the hands of Williams was the result of steroid rage, and the issue that was truly being kept a dark secret in the industry. She also went on to say it was something the company didn't want her speaking out about. Some even go as far as to believe it's part of the reason she never had another role within the company going forward. After his divorce in 2003, Williams seemingly went on to have a flaring love life once again, meeting another woman named Tess Broussard, while at this time publicly also making the statements that he was not an alcoholic. Although he may have been able to keep one dark secret at bay from the public, another demon was about to take hold of Williams once again. She also made comments that Williams was a drunken nightmare and a drug abuser who reportedly forced pills down her throat. Although now an industry icon, some fans never looked at Williams the same way. In fact, I want to share some words that have always stuck with me, coming from a friend who is also a longtime fan of Williams and that major entertainment company as well. This friend himself came from the abusive home. And as I mentioned before, seeing the industry as an escape. He often told me he would at times watch his own father get violent with his mother behind closed doors. He would often talk with me, when I was just coming up in that mid-2000s era about the industry, as he was one of the only friends I knew who at the time was not just a fan or casual viewer, but knew a lot of the inside stories and history, just like I did, and that was the type of stuff I was interested in at the time. When it came to the issue of Williams's arrest, this friend said to me during that challenging time in his life, he would often fantasize, about a guy like Williams coming to his mother's aid, knocking out the father. And he told me that he had never been so let down as the day that he learned that all this time he spent idolizing this huge name, that in fact that same man essentially was no different than his father.